When I was 67, I vividly recall a night when I found myself combing through the internet for anything that promised quick weight loss. My knees ached from carrying extra pounds, and my energy levels felt so low that even standing up from the couch felt like hoisting a sack of bricks. I was convinced that if I could just drop the weight fast, through crash diets, meal skipping, or whatever drastic measures were trending, I'd regain the vitality I thought I'd lost forever. So there I was at 2 in the morning, reading testimonials about extreme diets and miracle cleanses. My heart fluttered with equal parts excitement and fear. What if I tried these methods and they ended up harming me more than helping? Yet the drive to feel lighter and more mobile overshadowed my reservations. For many people past 65, this scene might sound all too familiar. The fear of reduced mobility and losing independence is immense. We worry about burdening our families. We worry about the day's simple tasks, like lifting groceries or walking the dog, might become too challenging. The temptation to fix it overnight is powerful. When we're younger, crash diets might leave us feeling a little tired, but they're often seen as a quick fix we can bounce back from. But as we age, extreme dieting can have more serious consequences. It can sabotage muscle mass we desperately need for balance and daily functioning. It can deprive the body of vital nutrients at a time when every nutrient counts. It can lead to dizzy spells, weakness, and even hospital stays. The stakes are high because when your body is already adapting to the natural changes of getting older, punishing it with severe restrictions can create a domino effect of issues: fatigue, fractures, mood swings, and a compromised immune system. The good news is that there's a better path forward. Today, I want to share 5 key insights that will transform how you think about dieting at this stage of life. If you stick around, you'll discover why mainstream get thin fast approaches are wrong for older adults, and, more importantly, what to do instead to maintain energy and independence. Stay until the end, because the final insight includes a surprising approach that most people never hear about. Yet it can make an enormous difference in how you feel every single day. Imagine looking forward to your daily routine with confidence, stepping outside your door without that heavy sensation in your legs, and feeling energized enough to enjoy the activities that give your life meaning. Doctors and specialists in geriatric nutrition are beginning to sound the alarm about extreme dieting in seniors. They're pointing out the hidden pitfalls and long-term damage that restrictive eating can cause. The information I'm about to share comes from observing numerous older adults, some over 80, who have found sustainable, healthy ways to manage weight without risking their well-being. So before we dive in, if you haven't already subscribed to this channel, I recommend you do so now and turn on notifications. That way, you'll never miss any of our future videos dedicated to helping people over 65 live healthier, more independent lives. And if you end up finding value in this video, let me know in the comments by typing 1. If not, type 0, and I'll do my best to make more relevant content for you. Now let's unravel the surprising truths about why extreme dieting can be harmful after 65 and uncover 5 strategies you can apply today to stay strong, maintain your autonomy, and enjoy life without being held back by punishing dietary restrictions. Remember, it's not about giving up on weight control. It's about doing it the right way so you can keep doing the things you love for as long as possible. The first important shift involves understanding how our metabolism changes over time. You might have heard well-meaning advice to eat less or cut out entire food groups, but let's take a closer look at why that can backfire when you're past 65. Picture this scenario. Joan, age 72, decides she wants to lose 20 pounds before her granddaughter's wedding. She stumbles across a diet plan that eliminates nearly all carbs, slashes calories down to near starvation levels, and promises rapid weight loss. The pitch is appealing. You'll drop a dress size in 2 weeks. At first, Joan is thrilled by the immediate results on her bathroom scale. Each morning, she sees the number go down, and she feels lighter. But after a few days, she also notices she's struggling to climb the stairs without feeling lightheaded. Her legs feel wobbly and weak. She snaps at her husband over small annoyances, something she never used to do. And ironically, she's so hungry that when she finally reaches her cheat day, she binges on everything she was depriving herself of. The mistake here is that Joan's body is no longer a 25-year-old machine that can rebound from severe calorie deficits. By depriving herself, she's causing her metabolism to slow down even further. Her body thinks it's under siege, holding on to fat stores and sacrificing precious muscle, which is the very stuff that helps with mobility, strength, and balance. The real eye-opener: seniors who lose muscle can find themselves weaker and more prone to falls, fractures, and a host of complications that threaten their independence. One of the biggest misconceptions is, if I'm overweight, I need to drop it all as fast as I can. But here's the surprising truth. Gradual, sustainable weight management is far healthier after 65. By focusing on steady progress, you allow your metabolism to adjust, you retain more muscle mass, and you're less likely to experience drastic energy dips or emotional roller coasters. A simple phrase to remember is, steady and gentle wins the race. That consistent approach is like building a sturdy foundation for a house rather than putting up walls overnight without support beams. So how do you achieve it? Consider small dietary changes that still keep you nourished. Start by reducing portion sizes in a manageable way. Instead of cutting out carbohydrates entirely, swap refined carbs for whole grain versions. Add extra servings of vegetables to your plate to feel fuller without depriving your body of nutrients. If it sounds too simple, that's because it is, and that's the beauty of it. You're not forcing your body into panic mode. You're letting it adapt while still getting enough protein, vitamins, and minerals to remain active and self-reliant. The emotional benefit of this approach is profound. When you feed your body adequately and avoid severe restrictions, you often find your mood steadies. You might notice you're less irritable, more patient, and more at peace. That sense of peace translates to a better quality of life. Instead of obsessing over the scale or fearing every bite, you live confidently, knowing that you're on a path aligned with your body's actual needs. Moving on, let's challenge a deeply entrenched notion about one-size-fits-all diets. Many seniors assume that if a diet worked for their neighbor or a celebrity on TV, it must be the golden ticket for everyone. This assumption is dangerous, especially once you're past 65. Imagine Richard, 69, who tried a trendy juice cleanse because he saw a famous actor raving about it. The diet advocated for mostly fruit and vegetable juices for 10 days, no solid food. Richard thought, if he can do it, so can I. But by the third day, Richard felt nauseous and disoriented. He missed out on an important family gathering because he couldn't stand for more than a few minutes without feeling faint. His wife insisted he see a doctor, who informed Richard that such a diet could drastically lower his blood pressure and blood sugar levels, especially since he was already on a medication for hypertension. The misconception is that one miracle plan works for everyone. The reality is that seniors have varying health profiles, different metabolic rates, and different nutritional needs. A diet that's heavy in juices might severely lack protein, leading to muscle deterioration. A diet that eliminates carbs might be dangerous for someone with low blood sugar concerns. That's why it's critical to see diets not as universal solutions, but as starting points that might need major adjustments for you. Here's a key insight. Think of yourself as a unique puzzle, with pieces that reflect your medical history, your genetic predispositions, and your day-to-day lifestyle. Any diet you choose should fit all those pieces together seamlessly, not force them into a shape that doesn't belong. A memorable phrase to keep in mind is, individual bodies require individualized care. Before jumping on a popular bandwagon, have a conversation with a nutrition-oriented healthcare professional, or at least do a thorough self-check. Are there conditions like diabetes, high blood pressure, or cholesterol issues to consider? Are you noticing you feel more tired than usual, or is your digestion off? These are clues your body gives you, signals that a cookie-cutter approach could do more harm than good. A practical step you can take right now is journaling. Write down what you eat for a week, how it makes you feel physically and emotionally, and any changes you notice in your energy levels. This simple act of self-awareness can guide you toward a more suitable approach, rather than blindly adopting someone else's regimen. Embracing an individualized approach brings a deep sense of autonomy. You're no longer chasing external ideals or trying to replicate someone else's success story. You're focusing on your own well-being, acknowledging your body's changes, and honoring its new requirements. It's an empowering way to remain in the driver's seat of your life rather than being a passenger on a diet fad roller coaster. If you're finding this information useful so far, drop a 2 in the comments to let me know you're still with me. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I encourage you to do so and click the notification bell. That small action helps us continue creating content to keep you informed and inspired. Now let's talk about an often overlooked factor in nutrition for seniors: the critical role of protein. Many extreme diets slash protein intake or fail to prioritize it, which can be devastating for muscle maintenance and overall energy. Consider Beatrice, an 80-year-old who was determined to lose weight so she could fit into a favorite outfit from years back. She cut her portions drastically and focused mainly on vegetable soups. While veggies are fantastic, her daily protein intake dropped to dangerously low levels. Within a month, she noticed she was feeling consistently weak and having trouble rising from a chair. Her arms felt like jelly whenever she tried to lift anything. Visiting the supermarket became a daunting chore. The misconception here is that protein is only for bodybuilders. But the surprising truth is that protein is even more vital for seniors. You might not be aiming for bulging muscles, but you do need enough strength to carry groceries, manage household tasks, and reduce your risk of falls. Picture it this way: protein is the scaffolding holding your body upright. Without enough of it, everything from your immune system to your ability to heal from minor injuries can take a hit. A concise phrase to capture this point is, protein powers independence. The best part is, you don't need to gorge on steak or chug bodybuilding shakes. Simple adjustments, like adding eggs to your breakfast, choosing Greek yogurt instead of regular, or incorporating beans and lentils into your meals, can significantly boost your protein intake. Some seniors find success with a moderate protein supplement recommended by their doctor if their diet falls short. Here's a useful strategy: aim for a protein source with every meal. That could be as small as a handful of nuts alongside your salad or a piece of fish at dinner. A balanced approach prevents the muscle wasting that often accompanies aging, helping you preserve the autonomy you cherish. Emotionally, maintaining muscle strength translates to confidence. The more you can rely on your own body to navigate daily activities, the more you preserve that priceless sense of freedom. It's a far cry from feeling fragile and dependent. You stand taller, literally and figuratively, knowing you've given yourself the nutrients to keep moving comfortably through life. Next, we need to talk about a powerful but often dismissed element in healthy weight management for older adults: mental and emotional health. You may have the perfect diet plan on paper, but if your mindset is plagued by fear, negative self-talk, or hopelessness, you'll find it nearly impossible to stick to any healthy routine. Let's look at Barbara, 74, who had spent the better part of 2 decades yo-yo dieting. Each time she gained weight, she felt a wave of shame that left her convinced she was a failure. When she tried yet another radical diet and couldn't sustain it, her self-esteem would plummet further. This cycle continued until she began working with a counselor who helped her address the emotional underpinnings of her eating habits: her frustration, loneliness, and fear of getting older. Barbara realized that her extreme diet attempts were almost a punishment she inflicted on herself for not living up to unrealistic standards. The misconception is that weight loss is purely physical. Just eat less and move more. But the reality is that your emotional state, stress levels, and mental outlook play a huge role in whether you maintain healthy habits long-term. A surprising truth is that many seniors who focus on stress reduction and emotional support often see steady improvements in weight and overall health, even without extreme dietary changes. A short phrase to remember: a calm mind fuels a healthier body. Try simple mindfulness practices. Maybe you start your day with 5 minutes of deep breathing or gentle stretching. Engage in activities that lift your spirits, whether it's painting, gardening, or playing with your grandkids. If you sense that emotional or psychological challenges are driving your eating patterns, consider speaking with a professional counselor or joining a support group. There is no shame in seeking emotional well-being. In fact, it can be the key to unlocking better health outcomes. By tending to your emotional health, you keep stress hormones in check. Elevated stress hormones, like cortisol, can trigger fat storage and cravings for high-sugar foods. Worse, chronic stress can sap the joy out of your day, making you feel less motivated to cook healthy meals or take a walk in the fresh air. Addressing the mental aspect isn't just a nice idea, it's an essential piece of the autonomy puzzle. When you feel mentally resilient, you're far more likely to sustain a nourishing lifestyle that supports your independence. Before we move on to the final insight, if you're still here and finding these points helpful, type 4 in the comments. Your engagement means a lot and keeps this channel going. And if you haven't subscribed yet, remember to do so if you'd like more in-depth conversations about health, independence, and vitality for those of us over 65. Finally, let's unveil the surprising approach that often gets overlooked: strategic indulgences. It might sound counterintuitive. Why on earth would a senior trying to maintain a healthy weight indulge in treats or comfort foods? But here's the key. It's all about balance and respect for your own enjoyment of life. Consider Harold, 77, who used to strictly banish sweets from his diet. He adored chocolate cake. Baking had been a beloved pastime for him and his late wife. Yet he resolved never to touch a slice again, fearing it would derail his weight goals. Eventually, he'd have moments of weakness where the craving became overwhelming, leading to a binge that left him feeling guilty and physically uncomfortable. This all-or-nothing mindset ironically led to worse outcomes. The big misconception is, avoid all bad foods to see real progress. But the reality is that occasional, mindful indulgences can actually help you maintain a healthier diet in the long run. Depriving yourself can create a sense of scarcity and rebellion. Your mind fixates on what it can't have, which can escalate your cravings. By allowing small portions of foods you genuinely enjoy, a piece of chocolate cake once a week, a scoop of ice cream on a hot afternoon, you remove the taboo and reduce the likelihood of spiraling into guilt-laden overeating. A memorable slogan here is, moderation, not deprivation. If you truly savor and enjoy a treat, your emotional well-being gets a boost. You remind yourself that life, at any age, deserves pleasures. As a result, you're less prone to feelings of resentment or isolation. Instead of punishing yourself, you create a lifestyle you can embrace, one that includes nourishing choices most of the time, with room for a little sweetness or comfort when your heart desires it. On a practical level, adopt a system. If you plan for your indulgence, like deciding ahead of time that Sunday afternoon is when you'll enjoy your favorite pastry, you're less likely to overdo it. The structure keeps you intentional, avoiding mindless snacking. And if you pair that pastry with an extra walk or a bit more physical activity that day, you balance out its impact without feeling restricted. The emotional benefit is significant. Being able to choose your indulgences fosters a sense of control rather than a feeling of being trapped or punished by your diet. It helps you maintain a positive outlook and, quite frankly, gives you something to look forward to. This psychological uplift can ripple through other areas of your life, making you more apt to stay active, connect socially, and continue exploring what healthy living looks like for you. As we wrap up, it's vital to revisit all the insights we covered and see how they interlace into a new approach toward eating and well-being after 65. Take a moment and envision what your life could look like if you adopt gradual changes instead of crash diets. If you treat your body as unique rather than following someone else's plan, if you prioritize protein for muscle preservation, if you address the emotional factors that drive your habits, and if you allow yourself mindful indulgences. Collectively, these changes can profoundly transform your relationship with food. Imagine feeling strong enough to carry your own groceries up the front steps, confident enough to accept invitations to outings without worrying about fatigue, and relaxed enough to occasionally enjoy your favorite dessert without shame. Picture your mornings beginning with a renewed sense of possibility. No more standing in front of the mirror, disheartened by a scale that never seems to budge. Instead, you see tangible shifts in your energy and comfort. It's easy to put off these adjustments thinking, I've lived 65 or 70 years this way, a few more won't hurt. But remember that every day spent on the wrong path can slowly chip away at your well-being. If you struggle with balance now, imagine the toll if you lose even more muscle. If you feel fatigued from skipping meals, consider how that fatigue compounds as you continue depriving yourself. The urgency to act is real because preserving your independence is worth it, and each small step counts. Which of these 5 insights resonates with you the most? Maybe you realize you've been severely restricting calories and ignoring how much your body craves balance. Or perhaps you see the need to incorporate more protein. It could be that you're ready to tackle the emotional side of dieting, or you're excited to add a small indulgence back into your life so you don't feel deprived. Whatever struck home, take the first small step. That could be writing down a realistic, protein-focused grocery list or setting aside 10 minutes tomorrow morning for a quiet reflection on your current habits. The more concrete and doable the step, the more likely you are to follow through. We would love to hear your thoughts. Share in the comments below one thing you learned today and how you plan to use it in your life. Hearing your experiences is encouraging not just to me, but to everyone in this community who wants to cultivate a healthier and more independent future. If you found this video helpful, please hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Passing this information on to friends or family who are 65 or older could make a meaningful difference in their lives as well, so feel free to share. Your journey toward a healthier, more fulfilling life is just beginning. Acknowledge that you have the power to change, no matter your age or your starting point. Let today be a turning point where you decide that you don't need a crash diet to feel better. Instead, you can rely on balanced steps that respect your body and your emotional well-being. By doing so, you retain the autonomy you deserve. Thank you for being here, and I look forward to the next time we can explore more ways to help you live the life you've earned, full of strength, vitality, and genuine satisfaction.